Greetings, members one and all of the Salivation Nation. Experts suggest a gold shortage may be looming. Now, is that something you believe, or is this just another pump piece from someone named Safe Haven, who I have no clue who that is? But this is on NASDAQ's website, NASDAQ. And it says last May, the head of one of the largest gold mining companies declared that we'd found all the gold that is to be found. Goldcorp CEO Ian Telfer told the Financial Times that peak gold is right here with us. Another gold expert has reiterated those views. Pierre Lassonde, former head of another giant miner, Newmont Mining, and founder of gold royalty giant Franco-Nevada, has concurred with Telfer's views by providing this piece of evidence. If you look back to the 70s, 80s, and 90s, in every one of those decades, the industry found at least one 50-plus million ounce gold deposit, at least 10 30-plus million ounce deposits, and countless 5 to 10 million ounce deposits. But if you look at the past 15 years, we found no 50 million ounce deposit, no 30 million ounce deposits, and only a very few 15 million ounce deposits. The peak gold phenomenon the two gentlemen are talking about refers to the point in time in which the gold mined every year will begin to shrink, signaling a watershed moment in gold's history, given that gold volumes coming out of the mines has increased consistently since the 1970s. Other gold experts concur. It's easy to blow off the views of the two gentlemen as hyperbole and the musings of a contrarian with vested interest, except that they are not the only people in the mining business who hold that position. Seabridge Gold chairman Rudy Frink recently said that gold reserves are shrinking fast. Several mining experts have been expressing concern that new gold reserves are not being discovered at a fast enough clip to replace aging mines. And the Barrick Gold's Kevin Dushinsky noted ore grades and production levels continue to deteriorate as discovery of new mines fall off. He added that longer development timelines for new reserves are bullish for gold outlook in both medium and long term. And then it goes on to talk about peak gold doubters. There are two main arguments advanced by the peak gold doubters. One is that the same view was held by oil experts since the 1950s, when no large reserves were discovered for decades. Of course, new technologies like hydraulic fracturing turned that around in a matter of years. The same thing could conceivably happen for gold. For instance, a new revolutionary technology promises to recover as much as 300 tons of gold from e-waste. And then another thing associated with that, I've heard people talking about areas like the Grand Canyon holds a gold mine of gold. And there's something called Chocolate Mountain that some people have been talking about as well. Another argument is that gold production has never been smooth over the past decades, and the current clip could merely be a blip in the bigger scheme of things. In fact, there have been 3 periods over the last century where gold production declined by as much as 30% before picking up again. It's therefore possible that what looks like a dip in production could be explained away by the boom and bust theory. By what these arguments fail to take into account is the fact that discovery of new reserves continued unabated during the past gold dips. Gold production is an economic activity that's controlled by the same factors that loom large over other commodities, including geopolitical uncertainties and profitability. But as long as no significant reserves are being discovered and brought online, it's only a matter of time before production suffers. After all, there are no substitutes for gold, and no new mining technologies have been discovered that can change the current trajectory of diminishing reserves. South Africa provides a prime example. One of the biggest producer of the yellow metal, South African reserves have declined so much that experts now predict that the country will run out of its accessible gold reserves in a mere 39 years. It's not easy to point to an exact top or bottom for gold production, But as things stand now, the looming decline presents an interesting opportunity for investors, especially considering where the prices are now. Looking at the charts here, gold is dipped down a little bit today, 1241.55. Silver is at 1582. And platinum is now below 830, and palladium is dipping as well. And palladium is the only metal that's not really suffered greatly through all this. I mean, it's gone down, but it got over $1,000 an ounce, but not a whole lot over that, really. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. And how new revolutionary technologies, as mentioned in this article, about how to recover as much gold. That's gold recovery. But, what about other factors about discovering new gold, other technologies? It'd be interesting to see where the actual hard numbers for these things are, because, this talks about this piece of evidence mentioned by two people. Of course, it talks about a piece of evidence, but then they talk about later in the article how, well, it's just two people's musings, but the other experts concur. It'd be interesting to see the actual data behind these. I do believe, because I've read this in other places as well, that we are probably at peak production. We probably have passed it, but it's going to be a long time before production goes down below where it was even 10 years ago. It seems like it's been climbing, and where that demand will be, down the road, because mostly gold is treasured. Silver is used for industry, and there's ways. Obviously, if silver gets too high, then we'll find ways to recover it out of electronics and things and the like. And already there's technologies that talk about recovering it from sewer systems and waste water treatment. But also there's other factors that come into play with silver that I think it's going to be a while before that occurs. Gold is a different animal because it is treasured. And so there's more people that hold amounts of it because of its value. It's used heavily in culture in both China and India, and in the East in general, the Middle East for sure. And so there's that factor as well. So what goes into the hands of those within culture, it's not traded as much as a commodity as silver is. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Obviously, if demand grows for it and they produce less, then the price will go up no matter what happens to the dollar or what have you. Right now, it's cheap. It's at least cheaper than what it's been for quite some time. So it's a good time to buy if you're in the if you have the financial wherewithal to do so. But nonetheless, it's fascinating. It's interesting to read all this stuff and see what's going on in mining and with precious metals and with gold and silver. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Post your thoughts below on this peak gold, and there can be a shortage looming. We'll find out. We shall see. Post your thoughts below. I'd like to extend the multitude of gratitude to y'all for watching, and encourage you to please rate, comment, and subscribe.